You can sleep a full 8 hours and still wake up feeling completely destroyed. You went to bed early, the room was dark, you did everything right, and you still wake up like you got hit by a truck. You drag yourself through the morning, half awake, waiting to feel human. You blame your mattress, your age, maybe your diet, but you might be doing everything right and still sabotaging the one moment that matters most. Here is the strange part. The reason usually isn't how long you slept. It's the exact second your alarm went off. Wake up at the wrong moment and 8 hours feels like 4. To see why, you have to know what your brain is actually doing all night. Most people picture sleep as one long flat block of nothing. You switch off at night, you switch back on in the morning, like a light. But sleep is not flat at all. It runs in repeating cycles, and each cycle lasts about 90 minutes. Think of one cycle as a staircase going down into a dark basement. You start at the top, in light sleep, barely under the surface. A small noise could still wake you here, and it would be easy. Then, you walk down a step into slightly deeper sleep. Your heartbeat slows, your muscles let go, the outside world fades out. At the very bottom of the staircase is deep sleep. Your brain waves go slow and huge, rolling like big ocean swells. Your body barely moves, and you are dead to the world. This is the heavy repair stage, where your body fixes itself for the next day. It patches up muscle, sorts out hormones, and clears junk out of your brain. This is the sleep you really cannot skip. Skimp on it, and no amount of light sleep makes up for it. After that, you climb back up the staircase toward dreaming sleep. Dreaming sleep is when your brain gets busy but your body stays paralyzed. Your eyes flick around behind your eyelids while you star in a nonsense movie. This stage helps lock in memories and sort through your emotions. It's why a good night's sleep can make yesterday's problem feel smaller. Then the whole 90-minute trip starts over again. A normal night is just 4 to 6 of these staircases stacked end to end. Down to the basement, back up to dreaming, down again, all night long. Early in the night, you spend more time in deep sleep at the bottom. Later in the night, you spend more time up near dreaming and light sleep. So the deep, heavy basement sleep mostly happens in the first half of the night. That's one reason a late bedtime quietly robs you of your best repair sleep. Now, here is the catch that quietly ruins your mornings. Waking up from the top of the staircase feels fine. You were already close to the surface, so coming up is gentle, but waking up from the bottom, out of deep sleep, is brutal. Your alarm reaches all the way down into the basement and yanks you up by a rope. Your brain was in its slowest, deepest state and you tore it straight to the surface. It's like being ripped out of the deep end of a pool with no warning. Your body was deep underwater, and the alarm just hauled you up too fast. That horrible heavy feeling has a name: sleep inertia. Sleep inertia is the fog, the grogginess, the can't think feeling right after you wake. It's standing in the kitchen staring at the wall, unsure why you walked in, and it is not some small harmless thing. In the first few minutes after a rough wake-up, your decision-making can drop to about half of your best. Half a brain, basically, while you fumble around looking for your phone. Even 30 minutes later, you can still be running about 20% below normal. On a good morning, this fog clears in 15 to 30 minutes. But if you got dragged out of deep sleep, or you were already short on rest, it can drag on for hours. So you can get your full 8 hours and still feel wrecked at lunch. It was never really about the 8 hours. It was about which step of the staircase you were standing on when the alarm hit. Two people can sleep the exact same 8 hours and feel completely different. One floats up from a light step, the other gets winched out of the basement. Now, I should be honest about one thing here. The science on this isn't perfectly clean. Some studies find a strong link between deep sleep and bad grogginess, and a few don't. What seems to matter most is two things working together: how deep you were when you woke, and how much sleep you already owed your body. Pile up sleep debt all week and every single wake up hits harder. So the goal has two parts that work as a team. Get enough total sleep and try to wake up near the top of a cycle, not the bottom. And the good news is you can actually aim for that top step. Because the cycles are about 90 minutes long, you can count backwards. Pick the time you absolutely have to be up, then count back in 90-minute blocks. Say you need to wake at 6:30 in the morning, count back 90 minutes at a time, and falling asleep around 11 gives you 5 clean cycles. You're trying to let the alarm catch you on a light step, not deep in the basement. Here's a simpler version of the same trick. Sometimes shifting your alarm 20 minutes earlier leaves you feeling better than the extra 20 minutes of sleep would have, because that small shift can land you on a light step instead of a deep one. Now, 90 minutes is just an average, not a law. Your real cycle might run anywhere from 70 minutes to 110. So don't treat this like a stopwatch you have to hit perfectly. Test awake time for a week and notice if you feel lighter getting up. It also takes most people 15 minutes or so to actually fall asleep, so add a little buffer. And whatever you do, stop hitting the snooze button. The snooze button feels like a tiny gift, but it's a trap. When you drift back off, your brain starts heading down into a fresh cycle. Then the alarm blares again and yanks you out of that new descent. You're not banking rest, you're just stacking fog on top of fog. Those 9 extra minutes cost you far more than they ever give back. One firm alarm, set for a smart time, beats 5 snoozed ones every morning. Put the alarm across the room so you have to stand up to kill it. Once you're on your feet, the urge to crawl back down the staircase fades fast. There's another sneaky thing draining your energy, and it strikes on weekends. All week you dragged yourself up at 6 for work or school. Then Saturday comes and you finally sleep in until 10 or 11. It feels like a reward, and honestly, it feels amazing. But your body experiences that shift like flying across several time zones. You never left your bed, yet your internal clock just got jet lagged. Picture yourself lying there with a tiny suitcase, like you flew somewhere overnight. Scientists actually have a name for this, and it's social jet lag. Your body runs on an internal clock that quietly wants the same schedule every day. When your weekday and weekend sleep don't match, the middle point of your sleep slides by hours. Sleep midnight to 6 during the week, then 2 to 10 on the weekend, and your clock just moved 3 hours. That is the same as flying from one side of the country to the other and back. By Monday morning, your body still thinks it's running on weekend time. You set the alarm for 6. But inside, your clock is screaming that it's the middle of the night. That groggy, miserable Monday feeling is real jet lag, just self-inflicted. And here's the kicker. You can sleep a full 8 hours on the weekend and still cause it. It's not the amount of sleep, it's the constant shifting that throws your system off. This isn't just about feeling rough for a morning either. People with a lot of this clock shifting tend to have worse health markers over time. Researchers have tied big social jet lag to higher rates of obesity, insulin trouble, and type 2 diabetes. Your body really does prefer boring and predictable. The fix is annoying, but simple. Keep your wake-up time roughly the same every single day. Try to stay within about an hour of your weekday time, even on Saturday. If you're truly exhausted, a short afternoon nap is far kinder than sleeping till noon. A 20-minute nap tops you up without dragging your whole clock out of place. Keep that nap short though, or you'll wander down into deep sleep and wake up groggy again. And keep it early enough that it doesn't steal from tonight's sleep. Now let's talk about the master switch that controls this entire clock. Light. Your internal clock sets itself mainly using light that hits your eyes. Bright light in the morning is the single strongest signal you can send it. It basically shouts at your brain, the day has started, start the timer now. That morning signal is far more powerful for your clock than avoiding light at night. So the best move is getting outside soon after you wake up. Even a few minutes of real daylight, no sunglasses, helps anchor your rhythm for the whole day. Outdoor light is many times brighter than your indoor lights, even under thick clouds. Your dim kitchen bulb barely registers to your clock by comparison. Do this every morning and your cycles slowly start lining up where you want them. You'll get sleepy at a sensible hour and wake up easier on the right step. Pair morning light with dimmer, warmer light in the evening to help the other end. Bright screens late at night tell your clock it's still daytime and push everything later. Then there's the drug almost everyone reaches for. First thing, caffeine. To understand coffee, you need to meet a chemical called adenosine. Every hour you're awake, adenosine slowly builds up in your brain. Picture it as sand filling a jar, and a full jar is what finally makes you feel sleepy. By the end of a long day, that jar is overflowing and your eyelids feel heavy. A full night of sleep is what quietly empties the jar back out. Caffeine works by sliding into the slots that adenosine wants to use. It doesn't empty the jar, it just flaps tape over the sensor so you can't feel how full it is. The sleepiness is still there, hidden, quietly waiting for the tape to peel off. And caffeine hangs around far longer than people think. Half of it is still in your body roughly 5 to 6 hours later. So a coffee at 2 in the afternoon means half that dose is still circulating at 8 at night. That leftover caffeine quietly blocks you from sinking into proper deep sleep. You sleep, but it's shallow, so you wake up tired and reach for more coffee. That's the loop that keeps a huge number of people permanently exhausted. There's even a case against drinking coffee the very second you wake up. Right after you wake, your body fires off its own burst of a wake-up hormone called cortisol. That natural burst peaks around 30 to 45 minutes after you open your eyes. If you dump coffee on top of the peak that's already happening, a lot of it is wasted. Many people feel steadier if they wait a bit, maybe 90 minutes, before that first cup. You ride your own natural wake-up first, then add the coffee once it starts fading. And try to put a hard stop on caffeine by the early afternoon. Protect tonight's deep sleep so you don't need the crutch as much tomorrow. None of this means caffeine is the enemy, by the way. It's a great tool, you're just trying to use it on purpose instead of on autopilot. So let's pull this all together, because none of it is complicated. Your tiredness usually isn't a simple lack of hours in bed. It's bad timing wrapped around perfectly decent sleep. Aim to wake near the top of a cycle and give yourself a loose window, not a stopwatch. Keep your wake-up time steady every day, weekends included, to dodge that self-made jet lag. Get real light into your eyes soon after waking to set your clock straight. Delay that first coffee a little and cut yourself off by early afternoon. And quit the snooze button, because it only pours more fog on your morning. Do these and the same 8 hours can finally feel like 8 hours. You're not broken, and you probably don't need more sleep. You just need to stop letting the alarm catch you at the bottom of the staircase. Pick one of these to try this week, not all of them at once. Maybe just fixing your wake-up time, or getting outside for 5 minutes after you rise. Small changes to the timing, not the hours, are what flip a rough morning into an easy one. If this made your mornings make a little more sense, you could subscribe. It costs you nothing, and unlike the snooze button, it actually helps.